The neural alert jolted Captain James Sterling awake in his quarters aboard the Earth Defense Station Omega. The year was 2185, and humanity had finally taken its place among the stars. The alert's urgency was unusual, Level 1 priority, reserved only for potential extinction-level events or threats to galactic peace. Sterling's augmented reality display flickered to life as he sat up, projecting the message directly onto his retina. Admiral Reeves' holographic form materialized at the foot of his bed, her expression grave. "Captain, we've received a distress signal from the Asterian Empire. Princess Veyara has been captured by the Drachnid regime." The name sent a chill down Sterling's spine. The Drachnids were notorious for their brutality, a warrior race that had carved out their empire through conquest and subjugation. They represented everything humanity stood against in their quest for peaceful coexistence among the stars. "The situation is delicate," Reeves continued. "The Asterians are our strongest allies in the Orion Arm, but official intervention could trigger an interstellar war. We need someone who can operate, unofficially." Sterling understood immediately. A deniable operation. He was already mentally preparing, his neural implants accessing the relevant tactical databases. Why take the princess? Intelligence suggests the Drachnids are after the Asterian quantum fold technology. The royal family are the only ones who can activate it through their unique genetic signature. With it, the Drachnids could strike anywhere in the galaxy instantly. The implications were staggering. The Asterian quantum fold drives were the most advanced FTL technology known to exist. In Drachnid hands, no world would be safe. "I'll need a small team," Sterling said, already on his feet and checking his combat suit's systems. "Fast ship, minimal profile." "You'll have the Shadow Star," Reeves replied. "Prototype stealth frigate, fresh from the Martian shipyards." "Choose your team carefully, James. This is strictly volunteer only." Within hours, Sterling had assembled his team in the station's secure briefing room. Lieutenant Raven Blake, the best pilot in the fleet and a master of stealth insertions. Sergeant Marcus "Ghost" Rodriguez, combat engineer and infiltration specialist. Dr. Aria Winter, xenobiologist and expert in Asterian physiology. "This mission is beyond dangerous," Sterling told them, the holographic display showing the last known coordinates of Princess Veyara's ship. "The Drachnids have taken her to their fortress world, Morketh. No one has ever infiltrated it and lived to tell about it." "Then we'll be the first," Raven said, her cybernetic eyes glowing with determination. "The Asterians sheltered thousands of human refugees during the resource wars. We owe them." Ghost nodded, his nanite-enhanced armor shifting colors to match the room's lighting. "Besides, Cap, impossible missions are our specialty." Dr. Winter studied the biological readings from the princess's distress beacon. "The Asterian royal family's biological makeup is unique. If they attempt to extract the quantum fold secrets forcefully..." She didn't need to finish the sentence. Sterling activated the tactical display, showing the approach to Morketh. "We have a narrow window. The Drachnid fleet rotates their patrol patterns every 72 hours. We'll use their own defense grid to mask our approach, riding the electromagnetic wake of their sensor arrays." As the team prepared to board the Shadow Star, Sterling felt the familiar pre-mission tension, but something else too. The fate of not just one princess, but potentially the entire galaxy rested on their success. The Drachnids had to be stopped before they could unlock the secrets of instant space travel. The Shadow Star lived up to its name, a sleek vessel that seemed to drink in the light around it. As they prepared for launch, Sterling looked at his team, each member representing the finest humanity had to offer. They were few against many, heading into the heart of enemy territory, but they carried with them humanity's greatest strengths: courage, ingenuity, and an unwavering determination to stand against tyranny. "Shadow Star, you are cleared for launch," came the control room's voice. "Good hunting." As the ship glided out of the station's docking bay, Sterling watched Earth recede behind them, a beautiful blue marble in the vast darkness of space. Whatever awaited them on Morketh, they would face it together, carrying with them the hopes of two civilizations and the dream of a peaceful galaxy. Plot course for the Drachnid border, Sterling ordered. It's time to show the galaxy what humanity can do. The Shadow Star sliced through the darkness of deep space like a phantom, its advanced stealth systems rendering it nearly invisible to conventional sensors. They had been traveling for 3 days, each moment taking them deeper into hostile territory. The tension aboard the ship was palpable, but controlled, the calm before the storm. Lieutenant Raven Blake's fingers danced across the neural interface controls, guiding the ship through a field of gravitational distortions. Approaching the Crimson Nebula, Captain. Drachnid patrol patterns detected ahead. Sterling studied the tactical display, watching the regular patterns of enemy ships cutting through the crimson clouds. The nebula was beautiful but deadly, its radiation capable of scrambling most ship systems. But the Shadow Star wasn't most ships. Dr. Winter, status on those biological countermeasures? Sterling called over the ship's comm. They would need every advantage once they reached Morketh. Ready, Aria's voice came back, tinged with excitement. The synthetic pheromones should mask our biological signatures from their organic sensors. The Drachnids won't smell us coming, literally. Ghost emerged from the engineering section, his armor adapted to the ship's dark interior. Hull modifications are complete, Cap. The metamaterials should bend their scanning beams right around us. As far as their tech is concerned, we're just another piece of space debris. Sterling nodded, pride swelling in his chest. Each member of his team represented the pinnacle of human achievement in their field. Together, they were about to attempt something unprecedented. Multiple contacts. Raven's warning cut through the moment. Drachnid Heavy Cruiser Squadron, bearing 340. They're running a search pattern. They're looking for us, Sterling realized. The Drachnids know someone would try to rescue the princess. Hold position behind that radiation cloud. The team watched in tense silence as the massive Drachnid ships passed nearby, their biomechanical hulls pulsing with internal energy. One wrong move, one system spike, and they would be discovered. Suddenly, the ship's quantum scanner pinged. Captain, Aria called up from the lab, I'm detecting an anomalous energy signature from the third planet in this system. It matches known Asterian patterns. Put it on screen, Sterling ordered. The holographic display showed a harsh, rocky world orbiting a dying star. Deep beneath its surface, something was pulsing with familiar energy. It's a hidden Asterian outpost, Aria explained, her voice filled with wonder. Predating their alliance with Earth. The energy signature, it's similar to their quantum fold technology. Ghost whistled low. A backup facility? Insurance against exactly this kind of situation? Sterling's mind raced with the possibilities. If we could access that facility, we might find something to help us rescue the princess. At the very least, we need to make sure the Drachnids haven't discovered it. The cruiser squadron is moving off, Raven reported. We have a window, but it's narrow. Sterling made his decision. Take us in, low and slow. Ghost, prep for surface insertion. We're making a slight detour. The descent to the planet's surface was treacherous, the atmosphere thick with metallic storms that threatened to tear apart lesser ships. But Raven's piloting skills were unmatched, and the Shadow Star's advanced systems held together. They landed in a canyon, the ship's adaptive camouflage blending perfectly with the rocky terrain. The team suited up in their environmental armor, ready for surface operations. Remember, Sterling briefed them as they prepared to disembark, we're on a clock. The princess is still our primary objective, but whatever's in that facility could be crucial to our mission success. As they stepped onto the alien world's surface, the twin suns cast long shadows across the barren landscape. The facility's entrance was hidden beneath centuries of erosion, but ghost sensors led them true. Got it, he announced, his nanites interfacing with an ancient control panel. Asterian security protocols. Complex, but not impossible. The door slid open with a hiss of stale air, revealing a darkness that had remained undisturbed for centuries. As they entered, their suit lights illuminated corridors of flowing, organic architecture, the unmistakable style of ancient Asterian engineering. This place, Arya breathed, her scientific curiosity evident even through her helmet speakers, it's a treasure trove of lost technology. Look at these markings, they're describing experiments with quantum entanglement on a massive scale. Sterling kept them moving, aware that every moment spent here was a moment the princess remained in Drachnid hands. But he couldn't shake the feeling that they had stumbled onto something important, something that could change the course of their mission. Deep within the facility, they found what appeared to be a control center. Ghost's nanites interfaced with the ancient systems, bringing dormant displays to life. What they revealed made everyone's breath catch. It's not just an outpost, Arya said, her voice filled with awe. It's a prototype facility for their quantum fold technology. The Asterians, they left behind a key to their greatest secret. Before they could process this discovery, Raven's voice cut through their comms, "Captain, we've got trouble. Long-range sensors just picked up a Drachnid dreadnought entering the system. They're heading straight for us." Sterling looked at the ancient technology surrounding them, then at his team. They had found something incredible, but now they had to make sure it didn't fall into enemy hands. "Ghost, download everything you can. Arya, grab any portable tech that looks important. We've got 10 minutes to salvage what we can and disappear. The real fight is still ahead of us." As his team rushed to work, Sterling couldn't help but smile grimly. They had come looking for a way to save the princess, and instead they'd found something that could reshape the balance of power in the galaxy. Now they just had to survive long enough to use it. The fortress world of Morketh loomed before them, a technological marvel wrapped in layers of defensive systems. The Shadow Star hung in high orbit, cloaked in the shadow of the planet's largest moon, while the team made their final preparations. "The data from the ancient facility is remarkable," Arya explained, displaying a holographic model of the Drachnid fortress. "Their quantum signatures are similar to what we found in the Asterian outpost. If we can modify our stealth systems to match these frequencies, we could walk right through their front door," Ghost finished, his nanites already reconfiguring their armor's stealth systems. Sterling studied the fortress layout. The Drachnids had built their stronghold into the core of a dormant volcano, with defenses extending deep underground. According to their intel, Princess Vayara was being held in the high-security research wing, where the Drachnids were attempting to extract the secrets of Asterian technology from her genetic code. "Raven, you'll need to keep the ship ready for immediate extraction," Sterling ordered. "Once we have the princess, things are going to get hot fast." "Don't worry about me, Captain," Raven replied, her cybernetic eyes gleaming. "I'll have this bird dancing through their defenses before they even know we're here." The insertion was textbook perfect. Using the modified quantum signatures, they slipped through the fortress's outer defenses like ghosts. The Drachnid biomechanical architecture pulsed around them, organic tech fused with cold metal in ways that seemed to defy natural law. "Life signs ahead," Ghost whispered, his sensors picking up the massive forms of Drachnid warriors. 3 of them, guarding the research-level access. Sterling was about to signal for a stealth approach when alarms suddenly blared throughout the facility. But surprisingly, the guards rushed away from their position, heading toward some other disturbance. "What's happening?" Sterling demanded, checking their stealth systems for any malfunction. Arya's voice came through their comms, excitement barely contained. "Captain, I'm picking up something incredible. There's a revolt happening in the lower levels. Drachnid energy signatures are showing signs of internal conflict." They moved carefully through the now-abandoned corridor, reaching the research wing's main door. Ghost's nanites made quick work of the lock, and they entered to find a scene of controlled chaos. Scientists of various species, presumably forced to work for the Drachnids, were destroying their research and fleeing. In the central chamber, they found her. Princess Vayara of the Asterian Empire stood proud despite her captivity, her crystalline skin reflecting the emergency lights. She was helping other prisoners escape, using her innate abilities to override security systems. "Your Highness," Sterling called out, lowering his weapon. "We're here to get you out." Vayara turned, her iridescent eyes widening in recognition of their Earth Force armor. "Captain, your timing is impeccable, but we have a greater problem. The Drachnids, they've already begun copying my genetic sequence. They're closer to unlocking our quantum fold technology than anyone realized." The revolt, Sterling realized. "That's your doing?" A slight smile crossed her alien features. "I may have influenced certain sympathetic elements within their warrior caste. The Drachnids aren't as united as they appear. Many of them oppose their leadership's push toward galactic domination." Suddenly, Ghost's warning system pinged. "We've got company. Big company." The doors burst open, and they found themselves face to face with a massive Drachnid warrior. But instead of attacking, the creature raised its hands in a gesture of peace. Its biomechanical armor bore different markings from the others they'd seen. "I am Commander Kextal of the Reform faction," the Drachnid's translator produced in perfect standard. "Your arrival was predicted, humans. We have been waiting for an opportunity like this." Sterling kept his weapon ready but didn't aim it directly at the Drachnid. "You're part of the rebellion?" "We are those who remember the old ways," Kextal rumbled. "Before the military council corrupted our society with dreams of conquest. The princess has shown us another path." Area's sensors were going crazy. "Captain, his genetic signature, it's been partially altered. They've already begun experimenting with Asterian DNA on their own people." "A process that must be stopped," Vayara interjected firmly. "The combination of our quantum abilities with Drachnid biotechnology could have catastrophic consequences if not properly controlled." The fortress shook with a distant explosion. "The military council knows of our betrayal," Kextal warned. "They will release the prototype warriors, those already enhanced with stolen Asterian genetics. We must move quickly." Sterling made a rapid decision. "Ghost, Arya, start downloading everything you can about their genetic experiments. Your Highness, we need to get you to safety. Commander Kextal, if you're serious about helping us, we could use a guide out of here." The Drachnid warrior's bioluminescent eyes pulsed with what might have been amusement. "Captain, I can offer you something better than an escape route. I can give you a way to end this conflict before it consumes the galaxy." As if to emphasize the urgency of their situation, another explosion rocked the fortress. Through the massive viewport, they could see battles erupting across the fortress city, Drachnid fighting Drachnid, Reform faction against the Old Guard. "Raven," Sterling called through the comm, "get ready for a hot extraction. And make room for some unexpected allies." Princess Vayara placed her hand on Sterling's armor, her touch carrying a strange resonance that seemed to penetrate straight to his core. "Captain, what your team found in that ancient facility, combined with what we've learned here, we might have a chance to reshape the future of 3 civilizations." Sterling looked at his team, at their new Drachnid ally, and at the beautiful alien princess who had catalyzed this moment of revolution. They had come to execute a rescue, but now found themselves in the middle of something far bigger, a chance to prevent a war before it could begin. "Then let's make it count," he said, checking his weapon's charge. "Because I have a feeling the real fight is just about to start." The fortress's emergency lighting bathed everything in a crimson glow as Sterling's team raced through the corridors, Princess Vayara and Commander Kextal with them. Behind them, the sounds of battle echoed through the massive structure. The Reform faction's uprising was in full swing. "Multiple hostile signatures incoming," Ghost reported, his armor sensors pinging frantically. "They're different from the others." Around the corner burst what could only be described as nightmares, Drachnid warriors transformed by unstable Asterian genetics. Their biomechanical armor had fused with their flesh, crystalline growths jutting out at odd angles. They moved with unnatural speed, their eyes glowing with quantum energy. The prototypes, Kextal growled. They cannot be allowed to leave this facility. Sterling took aim with his pulse rifle. Arya, analysis? The genetic integration is unstable, she reported, her scanners working overtime. They're powerful but deteriorating. The quantum energies are literally tearing them apart. The enhanced warriors attacked with savage fury. Sterling's team fought back with everything they had, pulse rifles, nanite swarms, and combat techniques honed through years of training. Princess Vayara proved herself far from helpless, her natural quantum abilities disrupting the enemy's enhanced powers. The hangar bay is 2 levels up, Kextal announced between bursts of his own bioweapon. But the military council will be expecting that route. Raven, Sterling called through the comm, new plan. Can you bring the Shadow Star in close to the North Tower? Section 7. That's a maintenance shaft, Kextal observed. Too narrow for a ship. A smile crossed Sterling's face. You haven't seen what our ships can do. Raven? Already on my way, Captain, came the reply. But we've got company up here. Drachnid heavy cruisers are moving to intercept. They fought their way to the maintenance level, Ghost's nanites sealing doors behind them to slow their pursuers. The shaft was a vertical tunnel stretching up through the fortress's outer wall. Through gaps in the structure, they could see the battle raging in orbit, Reform faction ships engaged with military council vessels in a desperate dance. The data we stole, Arya said as they ran, combined with the research from the ancient facility, it proves the Drachnids and Asterians share a common ancestor. That's why the genetic integration is possible at all. A truth the military council wanted to suppress, Kextal added. It goes against their doctrine of Drachnid supremacy. A massive explosion rocked the fortress. Through the gaps in the wall, they saw the Shadow Star executing an impossible maneuver, its metamaterials rippling as it literally flowed through a space too small for its normal configuration. That's our ride, Sterling announced. Ghost, blow the wall. The explosion created their exit point, the void of space beckoning beyond. Their suits automatically sealed against vacuum as the Shadow Star approached, its hull morphing to create a docking collar that matched the rough opening. We've got incoming. Raven's voice crackled through the comm, lots of incoming. A swarm of enhanced warriors was climbing up the shaft toward them, their mutations allowing them to move through vacuum. Behind them, more explosions rocked the fortress as the Reform faction fought to buy them time. Go! Sterling ordered, laying down covering fire. Everyone into the ship. They rushed through the docking collar one by one. Ghost and Arya first, then Princess Vayara. Kextal needed to compress his massive frame to fit through, his armor creaking with the effort. Sterling was last, still firing at the approaching mutants. But as he turned to enter the ship, a massive explosion knocked him off balance. One of the enhanced warriors had reached him, its crystalline claws tearing into his armor. Captain, multiple voices shouted. Through the torn section of his suit, Sterling felt the cold touch of space. The warrior's mutated face was inches from his own, its features twisted in a rictus of pain and rage. In that moment, Sterling saw what the future could hold if this technology wasn't controlled, the extinction of everything natural and beautiful in the galaxy. Then a crystalline hand grabbed his arm. Princess Vayara had returned for him, her natural quantum abilities flaring. The enhanced warrior recoiled as if burned, its unstable powers reacting violently to her pure Asterian energy. Together they tumbled into the ship as Ghost sealed the breach. Raven, get us out of here. The Shadow Star's engines roared as they pulled away from the fortress. Behind them, more explosions bloomed as the Reform faction's plan went into action, they were destroying the genetic research labs, ensuring this technology couldn't be abused again. Multiple pursuit craft launching, Raven reported. They're not letting us go without a fight. The quantum drive, Vayara said suddenly. The one you found in the ancient facility. If we can integrate it with your ship's systems. It could burn out our engines, Arya warned. Or it could save all our lives, Sterling countered, watching the enemy ships approaching on the tactical display. Ghost, can you make it work? The engineer was already moving to the engine room, his nanites carrying components from their discovery. About to find out, Cap. But we'll only get one shot at this. The next few minutes were a blur of action. The Shadow Star wove through waves of enemy fire, its metamaterials stressed to their limits. Ghost and Arya worked frantically to integrate the ancient Asterian technology with their systems, while Kextal provided insights into Drachnid weak points. Multiple hits. Raven called out. Shields failing. Almost there, Ghost reported. Power levels rising, quantum field stabilizing. Princess Vayara moved to the engine room, her crystalline form glowing with internal light. Allow me to help. My genetics can stabilize the reaction. Sterling watched as pursuit craft filled their rear view, weapons charging for a killing blow. Years of training and experience had led to this moment, human ingenuity and determination, combined with alien wisdom and technology. It was everything Earth Force stood for. Now! Ghost shouted. Vayara's power flowed into the ship's systems as the quantum drive engaged. Reality itself seemed to bend around them, space folding like origami. The last thing Sterling saw before the jump was the astonished faces of their pursuers as the Shadow Star did the impossible once again. They were away, but their journey wasn't over. The knowledge they carried and the alliances they'd forged would change the galaxy forever. As the quantum field stabilized around them, Sterling looked at his diverse crew, human, Asterian, and Drachnid working together, and knew that the real challenge was just beginning. The Shadow Star emerged from quantum space in a brilliant flash of light, its hybrid systems humming with power. Through the view screen, the massive form of Earth Defense Station Omega dominated the view, its defenses already tracking their arrival. Multiple vessels detected following our quantum wake, Raven reported, her cybernetic eyes scanning the tactical display. Drachnid signatures, both military council and reform faction ships. Sterling turned to Princess Vayara, who stood regally despite her exhaustion from powering their escape. Your Highness, it seems our actions have forced everyone's hand. The secret of your people's connection to the Drachnids can't be hidden anymore. Perhaps it shouldn't be, Vayara replied, her crystalline features softening as she looked at Commander Kextal. Our people's shared heritage could be the key to lasting peace, rather than a source of conflict. The comm system crackled to life with Admiral Reeves' voice, Captain Sterling, you've brought an entire war fleet to Earth's doorstep. This better be good. Admiral, Sterling responded, requesting emergency session of the Galactic Council. We have representatives from all three major powers aboard, and information that could prevent a war. The next few hours were a blur of activity. The Shadow Star docked with the station as diplomatic vessels from across the galaxy arrived in response to the emergency summons. The station's massive conference chamber, designed for interspecies meetings, filled with representatives from dozens of worlds. Dr. Arya Winter presented their findings, her holographic displays showing the genetic links between Asterians and Drachnids, and the dangerous potential of uncontrolled hybridization. Ghost's technical data from the ancient facility demonstrated both the promise and peril of quantum fold technology. The military council's experiments weren't just dangerous, Sterling explained to the assembled delegates. They were trying to force an evolution that needs to happen naturally, if at all. We saw the results, warriors twisted by power they weren't ready to control. Commander Kextal stepped forward, his massive form drawing all eyes. My people have long believed ourselves superior, separate from all others. But this evidence shows we are all connected. The Reform faction calls for an end to isolation and conquest. We seek partnership, not dominion. Princess Veyara's voice carried across the chamber with quiet authority. The Asterian Empire supports this call for change. We offer to share our quantum fold technology, properly and safely, with both Earth and the reformed Drachnid government. Let us turn these discoveries toward exploration and growth, not weapons of war. The debate raged for hours. The military council representatives fought against change, but faced with evidence of their illegal genetic experiments and the support of their own reform faction, their position weakened. One by one, neutral worlds threw their support behind the proposed alliance. Sterling watched from the sidelines as history unfolded, his team beside him. Not bad for a simple rescue mission, Ghost quipped, his nanites shifting patterns with excitement. There's nothing simple about changing the course of 3 civilizations, Raven replied, but she was smiling. The final treaties took days to draft. The Drachnid Empire would undergo reforms, with the military council stripped of power. A new trilateral commission would oversee the responsible development of quantum fold technology and genetic research. Earth's role as a mediator between the ancient powers would be formally recognized. On the final day of negotiations, Sterling stood in the station's observation dome, watching ships from all 3 powers moving peacefully through space. Princess Veyara found him there. My father, the Emperor, sends his personal thanks, she said, moving to stand beside him. Though I suspect he's less pleased about my request to serve as ambassador to Earth. Sterling turned to her in surprise. Ambassador? Her iridescent eyes held a hint of mischief. We're entering a new era, Captain. The Alliance will need people who understand each other, who can work together. Commander Kextal has already agreed to serve as the Reform faction's representative. And what about you? She asked. Will you return to running rescue missions? Sterling looked out at the stars, thinking of everything they'd discovered and achieved. Actually, Admiral Reeves has offered me command of a new joint task force. Multi-crew ships, combined technologies, focusing on exploration rather than military action. She thinks having humans, Asterians, and Drachnids working together will help cement the alliance. And you agreed? On one condition, he smiled. That I get to keep my current team. We work well together. Veyara's crystalline skin shimmered with amusement. Including a certain Asterian ambassador? Before Sterling could respond, alerts flashed across the station. A new quantum signature had appeared, unknown ships testing the boundaries of their space. The galaxy was vast, full of mysteries and potential threats. But now, thanks to their mission, 3 once divided peoples would face those challenges together. Duty calls, Sterling said, already moving toward the command center. But he paused, looking back at Veyara. Care to join us, Ambassador? I have a feeling this is just the beginning of a much bigger adventure. Her answering smile was all the response he needed. As they headed to face whatever new challenge awaited them, Sterling reflected on how a single rescue mission had evolved into something far greater. Human ingenuity, Asterian wisdom, and Drachnid strength, together they were more than the sum of their parts. The stars beckoned, full of both danger and promise. But with understanding between peoples, with trust and cooperation replacing fear and hatred, humanity and their new allies were ready to face whatever the future held. After all, that's what Earth Force did best, turning impossible odds into new possibilities. And now they wouldn't have to do it alone. The end.